There we go. There we go. All right. When Yahweh blinded his people Israel, he did not make them deaf. For the gospel of Paul says in Romans chapter 10, verse 16 through 18, but they have not obeyed all the gospel. For Isaiah says, Yahweh, who hath believed our report? So then, faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the word of Yahweh. But I say, they have not heard. Yes, verily their sound went into all the earth, and their words went into the end of the world. Paul was quoting from Psalm 19, verses 1 through 4, which states Yahweh's message is declared by the heavens. In Psalm 147, verse 4, he tells us, the number of the stars, he calls them by name. Now his children have chose the things of this world, and not to observe his word that is written in the sky. The only stars our people see today is on the silver screen, and not in the sky, as Isaiah said in 40 verse 26. Lift up your eyes on high, and behold, who hath created these things, that brings out their host by number. He calls them all by names, by the greatness of his might. For that he is strong in power, not one fails. It would be safe to say that there should be no excuse for not knowing the gospel of the kingdom of Yahweh. They are born of corruptible seed, and as stated correctly in the Diaglot, forgive them not, for they know what they do. The scriptures and the stars are one and the same, that being the word of Yahweh. Through the entire book of what is called the Bible, there is little that speaks of heaven and little that describes heaven. When we read about the kingdom of Yahweh and the kingdom of heaven, they are always speaking of the same thing. Many people believe the two are different things, but they are not. To map out the heavens today with the naked eye is much more difficult than it was in the days of our fathers of old. This is due to pollution of light and gas emissions that we have created with the industrial age. So, we rely on those that call themselves the masters of the world to give us accurate readings of it. For every event in the sky, there is a reaction that plays out here on earth. Just look at our present problems of drought, which brings the lack of food. Soon there will be wars fought over water and not oil. There is a race to be in control of water treatment plants, with ever-rising cost on the consumer. Think of Iraq and Iran fighting over land in the northern district during the time of Saddam Hussein. The elements will kill the wicked. If you turn to chapters 24, 25, and 26 of the Secrets of Enoch, we find that Enoch has now been taken into the 10th dimension. And Yahweh tells Enoch things that were never told to the angels. Yahweh tells Enoch that out of the invisible he brought forth light, and that light is born of light. And here is the inception of our birth, and the children of light. Now in the first book of Enoch, chapter 43, verses 1 and 2, we read, Behold another splendor, and the stars of heaven. I observed that he called them all by their respective names, and that they heard. In a righteous balance I saw that he weighed out with their light the amplitude of their places, and the day of their existing, and their conversion. Splendor produces splendor, and their conversion was into the number of the angels, and of the faithful. Then I inquired of the angel who proceeded with me, and explaining to me secret things, what their names were. He answered, a similitude of these has Yahweh of hosts shown thee. They are the names of the righteous who dwell upon earth, and who believe in the name of Yahweh of spirits forever and ever. To let you know that chapters 71 through 78 are astronomical secrets. Also, you can cross-reference this with Genesis 15, 5 through 6, Daniel 12:3, and Revelation 1, verse 20. Before the sun and the signs were created, before the stars of heaven were formed, his name, Adam, was invoked in the presence of Yahweh. A support he shall be for the righteous, and the holy to lean upon without falling. And he shall be the light of the nations. Upon their account I spoke, and conversed with him who will go forth from this habitation, who will hereafter tread upon Mount Sinai, appear with his host, and be manifested in the strength of his power from heaven. We are born from above, and Enoch has told us that we existed in the heavens before this world was framed, and before we came to this planet. See also John chapter 3. Adam was driven off the planet of Eden, and was brought here in a ship, and dropped off at the Pamar plateau, most likely by the archangel Phanuel. Prior to Adam being put here on earth, he had hid from Yahweh, because he violated the law of kind after kind. Now the trees that he hid among were racial trees, and one must consider that the trees mentioned here are the pre-Adamic. Most would say by this time that these pre-Adamites are the black and yellow races. But don't you think that if Adam hid on another planet that were either black or yellow, wouldn't he stick out like a sore thumb? Yes, I would say so. Would it be possible that Adam hid among a race of people that looks white? Not to say they are Adamic, but naturally pre-Adamic whites. And this may account for why some people that look just as you or me will never understand what is being said here in this booklet, because they lack a spirit. This also explains why Yahweh brought forth the beast, i.e. Enosh, to see if one would be suitable for Adam to wife. Obviously they were not. Even though they were white, they could not blush, because they did not have the breath of life breathed into them. Remember, Adam was placed in Eden to take over Seteniel, but fell and came here to this planet, because this is where all go for transgression, that being hell. Although we remain on the surface, while Seteniel and his angels now are in the hollow of the earth. I want to stop and make something very clear. O'Doyle, mentioned in chapter 25 of the Secrets of Enoch, is Adam. But in the singular sense, there was a belly of light that gave birth to light, and became plural, which are the children of light, also rendered the sons and daughters of Yahweh. But when Adam was placed on the earth, it was because only one of the sons and one of the daughters committed the crime of mixing with the trees of the garden. And only Adam and Eva, in the singular, were those who became physical and lost their bodies of light. Now you and I have volunteered to come down out of the heavens and to be our brother's keeper. This is also another reason within one member of your family has this identity message and others don't. is due to the fact that not all white Adamic babies born into the world have been filled with the Spirit. Cosmos is the Greek word which means design and or order, usually translated incorrectly as world. So, this design of the cosmos is a 12,000-year kingdom, which makes up a half cycle of 24,000-year precession of the equinox. A precession of the equinox is an astronomical term which describes the apparent path of the sun as it moves backwards or processes around a complete circuit of the sky every 24,000 years. Half of this cycle is of the worldly kingdom of Septennial, and the other half is of the kingdom of Yahweh. What I am saying is that the 12 Mazzaroth, or the zodiac,